and beloved country, Liberia, have two key members of the Weah intellectual movement. Mr. Isaac Ado. Mr. Ado is the vice chair for operations, and also a deputy minister of youth and sports at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Welcome to the program, sir.
Well, Sorbor, thank you. And it's nice being back here in this time of our country, a time where I see hope, I see vision, and I see prosperity for our country. It's always a good thing when we have these opportunities to talk to our people on the record of things that are facts, different from those things that have been distorted. Let me say hi to your listeners and everyone who always follows you, and thanks for all you do for the country. We all know information is essential, and of course, as we head to these crucial times in Liberia, when our people will be making a decisive decision in ensuring President Weah continuance as the president of our country for the sake of development, those things that Liberia has enjoyed, they need to do so on the basis of things that have happened in Liberia. They need to do so on the basis of the records of those people who they are going to elect. And so I think it is important for us to be always talking to them. Thank you.
Okay, we are expecting Deputy Information Minister Boka Fufana. Boka is the Deputy Campaign Spokesman for the ruling coalition. But we're also having studio Caroline Myers. Caroline is a member of the Weah Intellectual Movement. Caroline, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sorbor. It's always a pleasure being in your studio, especially when you are presenting the Super Morning Show. Even though today we are here under different circumstances.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah, but it's a good thing to be here, and it's a good thing to be a part of the Weah Intellectual Movement. Yesterday, I went public, pledging my unwavering support to the re-election of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia. And as I anticipated, there was a lot of misreactions. I've been on the line all night. Obviously, people will have the mixed views, and we respect their views. And it is our hope that because before we took our decision to support the re-election bid of the president, we sat and we did thorough soul session. And we took a definite position that we were not going to be silent in these elections. We're going to take a side and we're going to make it publicly known. And we expected the feedbacks that we are getting today. It tells us that we are very influential, and we bring something to the table. Yeah, and our decision to support the re-election of His Excellency is based on what he has done, what he's doing, and what he is poised to do.
Okay, so she's Caroline Myers. Caroline is a member of the Weah Intellectual Movement. In fact, that's my second interview with Caroline on the SMS. I'm sure the first time was about the PA election, and we had a very nice interview on the SMS.
Very nice indeed.
That was very startling.
And I told you that history will bring us together.
Yeah, surely. Yeah, surely. So let me go to you, Mr. Doe. First, I want you to just give us a reminder, refresh our memory as to how has the whole campaign been proceeding the first week, and we are now in the second week.
Well, Sorbor, thank you so much. And just as a matter of disclosure, I'm not officially on the campaign team, and we just had the official spokesman earlier on before we came in. But let me summarize to say one-sided. Not one-sided from the angle where people only sees one person. People only see one person, so I say. But one-sided on the fact that people only know one person, and they know what that one person has done for the country. And so, as you've seen so far, it's been only just about President Weah, his deliverables, things he's done, like Caroline said, and of course, things like Liberia who benefit. Well, I'm not sure what's the reason we are not getting to hear from the other side the policy differences they have with this president, and what are those things they will do better in relation to those things he's doing currently and is also poised to do. Maybe it's because of the rain. Probably someone cannot go out in the rain. Maybe it's because of no organization. Probably something is not somewhere. But we will sum it up to say one-sided. But before I go further, Sorbor, I want to quickly speak to two things. A few days ago, we experienced some form of violence around the Vamoma area, and as a young man from the angle of the youth, especially as Deputy Minister for Youth Development, I wanted to say that our country must condemn every forms of violence during these times of election. And we want to encourage our young people to ensure they see elections as a time when ideas are being shared between candidates, and we go for the candidates with the best record, which of course our president brings to the table. I know somewhere around the Vamoma area is on the record. I got some video recordings from, I think, an ELBC journalist or Spoon or okay, one of them I can't really recall, where some partisans from the Unity Party thought, as they said, their candidate was being blocked for some reason, and so they were coming to get their candidates out. I think it is from there what happened. But we trust that the national police will do the needful and ensure these kind of issues are not repeated. We want to call on the young people to avoid all forms of violence. Do not allow yourself to be used by any politician for their self-gain, be it me, your candidate, the opposing candidate, or anyone else. And the second thing, yesterday we were on Okid FM, and my own friend and brother Amos Stewart from the Unity Party called him, and as has always been customary, because these folks are always known as professors of people who are in the unwanted subject lies. They who bring those things that are not the reality. He called in and said, you know what, there's a reason why we say President Weah should not go back. Because paracetamol that was $25 years back is now sold at $75. So I'm like, oh yeah? Okay, let's find out this. Now, from yesterday to this morning, I had to go from drugstore to drugstore calling, and this is the real fact. Let me give it to you. Paracetamol, like he said, these are the things we have to confront, because these things get in the ears of the people, and the people sometimes tend to go about it unless someone comes up with a real fact. Now, we are not saying that Liberia stands on bread and butter. We are only saying the country has made tremendous progress, and this progress should always continue, because President Weah is the only person that brings forefront development agendas of our country. Now, paracetamol, like he said, there are many other things, but I want to be specific on what he said. From my own gathering, everyone can go and verify, is today sold at $50. Before we came in, it was sold at around $35. Now, what is difference in this? I try to see what happens in other countries nearby. I try to go to Freetown, Sierra Leone, where I noticed that paracetamol there is sold around 27,400 Leon. That is around $1.41 today. In comparison to Liberia, it is sold at around 26 cents when you were to do the conversion. How was it before we came in Sierra Leone as well? By that time, it was around 21,900 Leon, which was around $1.17 as compared to when we came in, when it was around $35. Taking the rate constant at that time at 150 was around 23 cents. So if you were to do your math, you see that at the time the prices in our neighboring country are on the increase. The prices in Liberia are either steady or with a slight increase.
Okay.
Why would that show? The economic policy which we would delve into points finger at why these things are happening. And we just wanted to correct the record for our brothers that no, Mr. Imontwe, please, we understand there are issues of our country, and these things will have to be looked at. Government has more work to do. Let us appreciate where we've come. Let us appreciate the progress we've made, and let's take out lies from our public discourse, because our people depend on the real information. They depend on the fact to be able to make an informed decision, and we believe we will get them that far.
Okay, so let me go to Caroline now. Caroline, you know, in your introductory remarks, you said, well, since you went public, supporting the presidency, the second date of His Excellency, the reactions has been, some are favorable and some favorable though. But let me hear from you, Caroline. On what basis you thought that making such a decision was quite necessary?
Okay, so Sorbor, as you've known me, I've been a journalist throughout my life before going to civil society, and now a media consultant. And you know the code of ethics, right? I've upheld the code of ethics. I went into civil society and I helped draft the code of conduct for civil society. By then I was with Actions for Genuine Democratic Alternatives. And then I moved on to government in 2015. And I had the opportunity to serve under the last government. And this government, when this government took over in 2018. And I've always saw myself as a technician. And I didn't care who the policymaker was. Whoever get elected, I'm a professional person. I'm a technician. I'm going to work. But I've come to realize one thing is that while it's true that I am a technician, it is the policymakers who determine the environment, the platform on which I'm able to work. I'm able to do what I know how to do. It is the policymaker that empowers me to be able to make the impact that I'm making. And when I sat and analyzed that whatever, you see, in 1997, Sorbor, I did not vote.
Okay.
And why I didn't vote, when I saw the crowd and was saying, you came, Mama, I will vote for you, you came, Papa, I will vote for you, I said, my one vote was not important. And I regretted that since. So I've always participated in elections, but I've never been on the forefront. So I thought these elections, and by the way, you are aware that my first degree is in political science. Yeah. And I thought to myself, these elections, I'm going to do an analysis of what everyone brings to the table. And if I must work the way I want to work, I need the right policymakers who will put the right policies in place and implement those policies. It's very important. So I started to look at the different sectors and do my analysis. And then I decided, I think, given the circumstances, given the challenges, given where we were as a country and where we are now, I think President Weah has done well, and he needs a second chance to be able to continue the work that he started, to be able to keep us on the right trajectory, because we are now on the right trajectory. And when I said there were mixed reaction, some of the reactions were genuine. People were genuinely concerned about me. Probably you have never been involved in active policy, in active politics. Why now? Why not now? Why not now?
So let's go back to the due diligence you did. You said you were able to look at policies, what people brought to the table, and also I'm sure you were able to also look at the candidates that are in the race. Why President Weah and not Ambassador Joseph Boyka or Cummings, Caroline?
Okay, so like I said, three things. What President Weah has done in terms of what he has achieved, what he is doing in terms of the projects that are ongoing now, that have now completed, and what he is poised to do if he has the opportunity to do it. And not forgetting the circumstances under which he's administering the affairs of the state. So giving all of that, I thought, yes, he has done well, and I need to give him my support. So let's start with education. Yes, I like education. When this president took over in 2018, right? One of the first things that he did, and everybody will say, oh yes, that is so you're thinking that the noise you're causing. He wasn't president, and he felt it was important to give support to education, even though people claim he's not educated. right? But he supports education. And so he said, I'm going to alleviate the burden of parents paying for their children's wax exams. I'm going to put a program in place that will provide free tutorial for our students so they are able to perform. And as a result of that, the rate of passing in our wax improves tremendously under his watch. Now we have at the tertiary level, he provided an opportunity that my child can go to public school free of charge.
Okay.
It didn't stop there. After they instituted that, registration fee was a problem. And it was a loophole for anything to happen, people to extort money from parents. So citizens came together and said, no, President Weah, while it's true that you provided free education, but we think the issue about the registration, you need to do something about it. He listened to the people. And he provided fund. Now across the country, you don't have to register. So the money that you have used, that you would have used to register your child, the money that you have used to pay WAS fee, the money that you would have used to pay for registration fee, you can use that money to improve your livelihood. It can go into your business. It can go into any other area of your life. Today we see rural connectivity. Our mothers, our farmers, they don't have to produce to get their produce, and their produce spoil because there is no road connectivity for them to bring their produce to market. We talk about electricity. I don't know when last I had to buy gas to put in generator. Since I have my last generator, it's sitting. And we have had stable coverage.
Okay.
And the coverage of coverage has increased.
Okay.
We now have more health workers. Before, the money doctors were making, it was very small, from $700. Now we have doctors that are making more than $700. I think it's around $2,000. And we have more health workers now who are on government payroll. We also have teachers who are not on government payroll, who are on government payroll. But it's unprecedented that given the global economic trend, that we are still able to raise the highest revenue in our country history. When it comes to healthcare, we are being able to build hospitals. The hospital in Babolu County just did a first and cesarean session. These are improvements. Now you can go to JFK and you can go and do tests. You don't have to go to Jamale for Jamale to take your sample and send it to either Ghana or send it to South Africa. You are able to go to JFK. I was in JFK. I was admitted at JFK. I didn't have to go to buy drugs from a drugstore. I got all my drugs from JFK. I got all my treatment from JFK. And I wasn't in a private room. I went as an ordinary person. So then, if this person is doing this, why can't we allow him to continue what he's doing? Do we want to go back? Nobody wants to go back. Everybody wants their livelihood to improve. And this is what we are saying. This is the narrative that we are pushing. You want your livelihood to improve? Then let's continue on this path of development.
Okay. Now, let me go to Mr. Doe. Mr. Doe, the campaign is on. The country is politically charged. The emotions, the excitement, or flaring up everywhere you go. She listed a number of areas where the president has made some major achievements, some heroes. What are, if you were to meet a group of young people, maybe first-time voters? What are the track records, you think, for the past 5 years, those things that the president has done, impacting their lives, that you can, tell them to convince them?
Thank you. And again, that's why we always think these elections should be about records, not just slogans. We hear people calling themselves rescue, trained, those people could not even rescue their own bank account for the 60 years they've worked in government, where today they will live on loan. That's not kind of the rescue we're talking about. We call people and say, fixing what? But this president is fixing all of those things that were damaged. And so, on the basis of the records on things that actually benefit the people's life, and like your question directly stated, my brother, whenever we speak to, let's call them first-time voters, and why is it like about 90 to 95% of first-time voters tend to be in the corner of President Weah? Simply because their own lives have connection to the policies of this president that have also affected not only them positively, but their own parents.
Okay.
Caroline listed just that. Now, I'm from the youth thing. You know, the issue of youth is cross-cutting around the place, but we'll also go to specific as to what President Weah has done for the young people themselves. She mentioned the issue of WIAC fees-free policy. My brother, you were here time past, we were around. We know the amount of calls we got when WIAC was coming around. We know how parents used to scramble to get that, like she rightly said. The president said, listen, young people, the only thing you need, study hard, go and pass. Forget about that issue you've once had before. I will take care of them. That has an effect on their own lives. And it doesn't just stop there. There is a pathway to growth. When you leave high school after the president has paid your WIAC fees, whereby you had no worries on that again, you will then need to go to college. The president said, you know what, I have helped you down the line with your WIAC fees. Today you are good. Now you are coming to college. I'm going to institute a public university free fees policy, so you can now continue on that path of no worries, where the only thing you need is to study and ensure you make your pass, go to school, and you will be good. Now, not only the lives of these people themselves, it also positively affects Manjua, who goes in the market to sell her little things. Just like Caroline said, Manjua does not have to take something else again to go and pay WIAC fees. In addition to that, my brother, I'm sure you know of many persons who once attended UL. Before, you will have students at UL putting bricks on the ground as land so that they can have space to be able to register. And that land sometimes ranges from the fence of UL all the way to Stella Maris coming on the road. People standing today, listen, young people use internet a lot. You only need the comfort of your home and your phone to plan your courses. Isn't that living? I thought it is. And these are things young people care about. But let's go down the road for you. Even I want to talk mainly on that now. The issue of education, the issue of coronavirus, these were all positive effects on the lives of young people, simply because about 95% of those in school are youth. So whatever done right there in schools affect the lives of young people. If you were to come to the coronavirus, where data shows the young people were mostly affected by issues of the COVID, simply because they are the one working at entertainment centers. Entertainment centers were shut down. They are the one going to schools. Schools were shut down. Going on the soccer pitches. Nothing of that was done. And so the positive response, where in Liberia today is being used as a model for responding to this kind of a health emergency, also positively affected the lives of the young people. But let's go administrative influence. What has this president done? Now I want to be on the record now. You say through the involvement and intervention of the president, today is carrying out a project, the Youth Advance through EDC, the Education Development Center.
What is that?
That runs for 5 years. And that project will be investing about $22 million into young people's side, and that will be targeting 21,000 youth across Liberia in 3 counties specifically. That's Lofa, that's Mosorado, and that's Basso. That is a fact.
How does that benefit the youth, the young people, the girls?
This is where we are. One of the issues young people will always look at is the issue of job. This project brings to the forefront how young people can, one, be their own boss. It's going to provide them extensive training in that. It's going to also help them on how to get a maintain job. Now, these are fundamental areas where youth have always had problems. When I was doing my master's, for instance, I did a study in Liberia where you will find out that a lot of young people have the zest to do businesses. They, in fact, do start businesses, but within 1 year, 2 years, those businesses either get down, get off the market, or will never expand. Not because they don't want to, because there are so many knowledge and things lacking at the middle, and President Weah wants to tap in that. Let's go down further to the YOP, a project which targeted about 15,000 young people across the country. And that we had an investment of some $13.5 million for 5 years that ended in 2021. Now, what did the YOP do? It targeted 4,000 young people from the angle of small businesses, where we presented them about $450 each in cash. Now, one of the things we know, access to finance in our economy becomes a challenging thing for our young people. So the project tends to help them in that side. President Weah is a good thinker. Now, in addition to that, we encourage young people to go back to the soil. Do a little cultivation of farmland, plant your own crops, we buy it from you, but in doing that, we give them each $450 cash subsidy as a means of motivation for them to see the issue of soil to be the place to go. 11,000 of those benefited. Let me just run through things that are very, very quickly. Now, today we are running a Weah project. Weah project is going to be a 5 years project again. It will be somewhere around $42 million that will be targeting around 50 to 54,000 young people from 3 areas. Again, the issue of small businesses. Each of those will be benefiting $900 cash to you to help you do your business, to help you improve your business. This president has recognized that if young people were to do better, we have to tap in those lapses in those places that have hindered their progress. And so he's always been there. But again, one very important thing I want to talk on this before I start with the issue of at-risk youth. Most people call them Zogos.
You launched a program since, and
that's where I want to come. Because for me, it rings a lot in my mind, in my ear, and I thought if Liberia's youth were to go forward, we have to start up with those who are at the least of our bottom. And I would think our at-risk youth and Zogos, as they are called, we don't refer to them like that, should be those people. Now, when we came into power, one of the things we decided to do was to start up with those places our predecessor in it, following track record and see how we can improve it. From this angle, there was none. I, from the Ministry of Youth and Sports, did not see any project that would give us a clue of what to do. So what we decided to do was to bring up a pilot phase, the SEED, Social, Economic, and Empowerment Project for Liberia's Disadvantaged Youth. We partnered UNFPA and UNDP, where we targeted 500 at-risk youth, but we ended up with 520. Now, these at-risk youth were recruited from the streets. They went through detox. We sent them through rehab. After that, we gave them skills. We sent them to various forms of TVET. And as we speak today, my brother, I have one person right close by the SKD who today has his own tailoring shop. He was once down Broad Street as a Zogo right by Ministry of Finance. Today, he has his own tailoring shop where he even sells clothes for my boss. I have another gentleman around the YMCA school in GSA Road who is doing this car spare part things, who was one in the ghetto. It takes the effect of that program. After that program, the president decided to launch the bigger one, the at-risk youth, that will be targeting multi-thousand of these people across the country. But today, starting with the first 4 counties, Moserado, Bomi, Maigibi, Grand Bassa, what are we going to be doing? By the 21st of this month, just about a few days from now, we are going to be sending 1,000 of those into rehab. They will spend about 3 to 6 months, depending on where you stand as a person. They will go through detoxification. They will go through rehabilitation. They will gain skills for employment. We will carry them from the side of job and little work. And at the end of the day, we're going to help them with seed capital for them to be productive citizens in the country. Now, it is always one thing to complain, and it is the next thing to do. President Weah is on the side of to do than the side of complaining. Liberia's problems are tremendous, are enough, are so many. We need people who will come in and solve the problem that President Weah has been doing.
Okay. Let's go back to Caroline. I'm sure we'll open the lines, but we have to, exhaust our questions first. Caroline, you've part of the Weah intellectual movement, getting the message out to our people to see the need for giving the president a second 6-year term mandate. Now, what's your interpretation, you from the media background, as to how is the media trying to perform in this campaign period? What's your interpretation? What's your impression, and how do you see the media performance?
Well, again, I've already taken a side, but I try to be as objective as I can be. And I think the media is doing a good job, and the media needs to continue. We have been contributing our quotas to training journalists in preparing for elections reporting. We have also worked with media institutions, including ELBC, to develop gender policy to ensure that the newsrooms become gender sensitive, especially during these elections, on how they can protect female candidates. Last week, I was training political independent candidates and female candidates, legislative candidates, and then one vice presidential candidate for the UN Women. And Sister A Liberia, I was consulted to provide training to them and their campaign teams. And we did a session on the media. And it is our hope that the biases that the media show, especially to women, we will not see it during these elections. Yes, but from the point that I am serving on the national campaign media team, my role on that team is to provide media.
The question I ask on the overall, not talking about specific issues, but on the overall, Caroline, do you see the media reporting positively, or do you see the media on the negative side of the entire political process that's ongoing, trying to divide the country?
Well, again, it's a that would be opening a whole Pandora box, and this is not what we are in the studio, and we are in the studio yet. But all I can say is that as journalists, let us all try to maintain our objectivity. For those of us, right now, I'm on a sabbatical. Yes, I'm on a sabbatical, and I am strictly political. So I would not want to say this media institution or on the overall journalists are not giving a fair report in their reportage, then it's not fair. All I will say is that let journalists be journalists and let them do their work without fear or favor. Let them be as objective as they can be. For me, I don't believe in a concept of neutrality. I don't. In as much as you will cast a vote, obviously you're going to vote for somebody.
You're going to take a side.
You're going to take a side. So I don't believe in neutrality. I believe in objectivity. So it is our hope that they will be objective. And this government, under this president, has provided the avenue, has provided the platform again for the media, for journalists to be as objective as they can be objective. You saw some of the work we did with the Table Mountain Declaration, with the KAK and KAK Act. Those are policies that this government adopted to ensure that we have a free press in this country.
Okay.
It is our hope that they will live up to their responsibility. Yeah.
Okay, let me go to Mr. Doe. Mr. Doe, the campaign process is still ongoing.
Oh yeah.
We don't see the other side.
Oh yeah, because they don't have anything to bring to the table. Actually.
So you claim apparently.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, we can. This is what we keep saying, my brother. Go at those days when the people go to vote just because you are the head of the time or because you are the youth of the time. No, the people will be voting now because of what you've done, your records. And the fact that you don't have no record, what are you going to bring to the table?
Now, the question I want to ask you, yes, we have a couple of individuals in the race, and all of them want to unseat President Weah.
Yeah.
While President Weah is opting for a second 6-year term mandate. Now, if you were to meet him, if you were to make a case on why people should go for any of those candidates,
it's very easy. It's very easy. Very easier today than it was in 2017. Because in 2017, President Weah came as a candidate from the Senate and as a person who was not a president. Today, he's been a president. And we can point to those things he's done. Let's not talk about the building of corporate headquarters around the place, the NSA. And let me tell you, Caroline said something about the first C-session that was done in the Bapolu Emirates Hospital. And when that happened, one of my friends from the opposition sent a message and said, man, you people, let talking about small thing. Imagine C-session that been existing since 1715 BC, that today you're celebrating it. I say, whoa, there where you are. The question now should be, why is it that Liberia, after almost 187, 186 years, whatever it is doing its first C-session in Bapolu today? You should now be asking Joseph Jenkins Roberts. You should be asking Edward J. Barclay. You should be asking President Sirleaf Johnson. Former President Sirleaf Johnson. You should be asking our own pal who wants to be president today, who was in government for some 46 to 60 years. Why are we doing our first C-session only under President Weah? But let's go to the reason why we think people should vote President Weah and only President Weah. Let's start off with the record. Not just because he's tall, he's handsome, he's this, he's that. No, like other people saying at the end of the time. Who's voting for head of the time? Who's going to eat head of the time anyways? Now, we are not saying that Liberia is bread and butter. No, absolutely. I've never heard.
We're not saying everything is rosy.
We are not saying so. We know Liberia got problem from the side of employment, from the side of everything. We got problems. But what we're saying, we have made so much of impact in this country that we cannot turn back our eyes.
Okay.
We have to move forward. Now, let's start off with the issue of roles. Like my sister said, my brother, these are things we will say today, tomorrow. We will keep on saying because we are proud to speak to our records. Unlike our friends who for some reason said they were parked in a car, they couldn't say anything of their record because there was no record. When President Weah took office, as per the records, we had road network for something around 700 kilometers, 743, or something around there. Today, without the ones that are correct or currently under construction, brother, we are at something 1,300 kilometers. That tells you this president, taking into account that COVID rampaged the world for 2 years, where the entire globe stood still, different from the Ebola pandemic. When the Ebola pandemic came, only certain countries were at a standstill. So you could rightly do businesses in other countries. But for the COVID, the entire world stood still. So there was absolutely nothing you can do anywhere. It's different, very big different. This president has almost doubled the road network since 1847. Shouldn't we dance in the rain with happiness for this? Of course we will. Now let's go to economy, where I want to focus. As a matter of fact, you know I'm a finance kind of person. I want to be there. You will hear a lot of our friends saying the government put people in poverty. Let's speak to the real fact. And we want to challenge our friends to debate, to come and bring the record based by evidence and sources, and let's bring ours. Let me tell you what the record says. The record says, if you were to consider the 2 years of COVID, where the entire world stood still, this government had taken people extremely out of poverty at around 27,000. The number may seem small, but why is it important? It is important because if you were to compare this average for the 4 years first of this president to the 4 years last of when Mr. Vice President was only taking in salaries and his office was receiving millions and millions in government funding, you will notice that on average, about 310,000 Liberians were being placed in extreme poverty compared to about 27,000 Liberians that have been removed out of poverty.
Okay.
That is about 94% year-over-year improvement in the extreme poverty rate. What did the stat really say? Our brothers from the UP claim that they know bug. Let them go and do all of the research everywhere. This is what the stat said. Let me be specific. For the last 4 years of Mr. Bakar's term as vice president, who wants to be president today? So the first 4 years of President Weah, the average GDP per capita. Now, these are data, big words I don't like to use, but we'll break it down on how it benefits man in the market. The average GDP per capita, it means how much individual citizens in the country contribute to the national growth. The GDP per the country was 710. Year over year, that is minus 1.41 degrees. If you were to do the math for those who from the UP clean the notebook, you will find out this is in direct proportion to the 310,000 year over year for the entire time they were there. Compare that to the president's first 4 years. It is 12.11 increase. And what did they say? From 2017, GDP per capita, how much each person, it also leads to the poverty, how people are poor, how they are doing, how their bank accounts are traveling, and all stuff like that. We came at 700. When the COVID hit, it came down to 666. When the COVID still continued, it came down to 598. After the COVID ended, it went to 676. That is about 13% increase. It tells you how it not been for the impact of COVID, we have had more. So this is what the record say. And I'm speaking on the record, though I don't work at Ministry of Finance, but as a person who entire life has been in finance, in economic places, before coming in government. These are what matter. What they tells you. It tells you that Manjua can today save from one thing and spend on another thing. How would that happen? If bag of rice was being sold at $16 last year, 30 cents. And this year, bag of rice is being sold at $16, 30 cents, or $17. But when you were to do a little comparison with your closest neighbors, you will find out that that very same bag of rice is sold at some $21. What happened? Magic did not happen. Certain economic policies suppress the prices. That could be subsidizing the rice. That could be the issue of inflation lowering. Once you lower inflation, you have positive impact on the people. When Mandra goes in the market, she pays a little less than what she would have otherwise paid had inflation been high. Okay. So these are the numbers. And just to end again, my brother, Isaac Doe and everyone that I listen to from this government is not preaching Liberia being white or the country having white thing all over it. What we are preaching is we have made substantial gains as a nation compared to the records of everyone else who want to be president. Why should we take President Weah, who is ensuring that he builds multi-thousand housing units for poor people, to those people who've got no record of such? Why should President Weah not continue, who has been ensuring that our parents don't worry about paying WAEC fees to somebody who have given us no indication of what he will do? If you want to remove the president, as you always claim, come and tell us what better you will do from paying WAEC fees. Come and tell us what better you will do from building housing units. Come and tell us what better you will do from ensuring that no civil servants today make anything below $150. Come and tell us what better you will do from ensuring that we empower our health sector by ensuring multiple health practitioners go out of the country to enhance that skills.
Okay.
You come and tell all those things on the record. Let the people know exactly what you stand for. Forget about the rescue office, rescue NTA. In fact, Finambondo, Ambassador Finambondo, rescue Nina, they taking it, carrying it all around this place. Why are they always called copycat? It tells you the decision level of these people. That's why we believe and we say President Weah remains the only choice in Liberia. President Weah is the only person this country can survive under, as has been evidence over the last 6 years or 5 or 6 years, including during the time of COVID. A lot happened.
And Sorbor.
Finally, quickly.
Sorbor. If I should add, we have a history. We have the 14 Military Hospital. We have the hospital, the Redemption Hospital, that is currently under renovation. We now have 2,500 health workers who are on government payroll. We now have specialized doctors that the government has invested in, 19 specialized doctors that the government has trained. Now, you may tell me that 19 is insignificant, but if you take the ratio of patient to doctor, you will know that 19 doctors, that's a very good significant number. Also, like he was saying, despite Liberia being an underdeveloped country, when we were fighting COVID in this country here, you were here. How was Liberia response system rated? One of the best in the world. When it comes to education, increasing the pay of 3,500 supplementary teachers and putting them on government payroll. Also, we have increased, like I said, in 2018 when this government took over, our passing rate for WACs was 38%. In 2020, it increased to 76%. Now we have more education and more schools that are being built across the country. When it comes to jobs, he talked a lot about the effort that this government has made in the economy. Like I talked about the highest in our country history in terms of revenue. We are being able to stabilize the rate for a long time.
Very long.
We are being able to stabilize the price of fuel and rice by subsidizing, if you compare it to our neighbors. In the midst of the Ukraine war, We are being able to subsidize rice. We are being able to subsidize food. We are being able, this time around, the government does not have to go to central bank to credit to pay civil servants. The government has been able to pay civil servants.
Okay. Okay.
So again, we are saying vote number 18 because of track record. Let's continue what we are doing. Go down 18th Street and vote number 18.
0880-514-096. Few calls. 0880-514-096. The first caller is on the line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, let's hear from you. Your name?
Okay, then. Theologians Gagnew. Yeah, I'm Theologians Gagnew. I call from the comrades of Len Eugene Nangwe, where I serve as the National Assistant Secretary for Media and Public Relations.
Okay.
I just want to tell all of my senior comrades in studio, I think President Weah is the best choice, the best solution, the most experienced president, and that we should vote for comes October 10th. And we are massively campaigning to give him a second chance. I must admit, when during the time of President Edding, currently I'm paying $2,250 for my course at the University of Liberia at my stuff there. I read mass communication, public administration. But during the terms of Edding, you guys, if you carry 20, 23, 18, 16, you play close to 8,000, 12,000. You know, so I think I admonish all of my young folks like me, my age group, and the newly registered voters to vote President Weah. And lastly, please, let us all keep preaching the message of peace, that we will have a peaceful election. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks. Let me take this caller. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Toy. Good morning to State Gathering the student.
Good morning,
Thank you this morning for the topic of the discussion. I'm going to vote number 18 because I don't have the need to pay my little sister in YFC. I'm going to vote number 18 because the University of Nigeria is that's where I can go to enroll and do my study. I'm going to vote this person because the peace that he had for the past 4 years and in his own 6 years, he still continues to have that peace. I'm going to vote this president because of the hospital. And this person that was once they told all that he don't know anything, but the men who don't know anything have provided a lot of things and they want to think to know something.
Okay.
This is for the children when they think to have.
Many thanks. Many thanks. Let me take this caller. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the Anshon Backward District for Mozoro County.
Let's hear from you.
We are one round victory.
Let's hear
Let
from
me
you.
say thank you to my senior brother and colleague in office and institute there, Minister Doe, and a lady there. Mr. Doe, we have those challenges to go through because we have to go in a road. You know, the guys are carrying loud around. I have visited 3 counties and 4 other every district in our counties, and I'm seeing what is going on there. So I'm asking the campaign team and you guys to help us and empower us that will go to the corner and lose hold of Liberia to tell the people and the bundle lives.
Okay, many thanks. You made your point. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm Prince. You're coming from Plivo, Southern District, Fulton County.
Let's hear from you.
Okay, let me say bravo to your sales here this morning. Actually, it's well. I want to actually show the Liberians, who especially our new voters, to re-elect President Weah. Because Weah is a man who is actually responsible to pay attention to young people. He has leadership passion. And besides Weah, I don't see any candidate can be compared to him. So I advise that all our Liberians to pay attention to Weah this come October 10th election.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Many thanks. Let me take this other caller. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, let me go to this line. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, good morning.
My name is Louis Sorbor. I've been journalist all my life. I'm the national president for the National Association of Science and Teaching Institution. You know the issue of literacy when the government launched $1.something million project to uplift the young people who are destitute as a result of drugs and they have been abused. So the first 33, I went to President Weah during the one of his visits at the playground that he built. He really dropped them, treated them, took care of their health, and later on, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Honorable Zoga Wilson, called on the National Association of Science and TV Institution to assist with 33 students. Just on Saturday. Out of those 33, 19 successfully completed training in several skills, including heavy-duty driving, including their model. And the two of those at-risk youth that were sent to one of our schools, Corner School in Carwell, they came A. They were one of the best students. And so we are advocating for them to continue.
Okay.
There were people graduating in history, in tailoring, electricity. These people get skills. It's just the first step. All right? And somebody will hear me and say, oh, you'll be so bad at CDC. I'm just telling you some of the intervention through the National Association as a result of one of the huge challenges in our country of young people who are at risk.
Okay.
The president has intervened. But somebody needs to invite the National Association to the program so we can discuss something.
Okay, many things I'll do that. Let me take this other corner of the line. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Peter Macaulay. Good morning.
Yes, go ahead, quickly.
Yeah, I'm Peter Macaulay, the 7th Santa boy, and I call you from District now, Montserrat.
Okay.
I want to say good morning to the minister in studio and to you also, Mr. George. Let me say this. You see, the reason why some of us will continue to propagate the message of President George Bernard Weah on every talk shows, because we are seeing the unprecedented development across the country. Look, if we can retrospect Mr. George to the 12-year calamity on Manasali, we used to see our students going to the beaches called Super Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The students used to leave. So many times, the two students leave for that beach to the other beach. For President George Bernard, we are the developmental-oriented B-52 of our country. Came out to say, for this to not happen to parents, let me build a sport park. Look, you know how the economy is booming to that part? You know how every Friday, normally students for across the 50 countries can come here. Look, we want to tell the president thank you. And Mr. Doe continue to propagate the president's message, because we are still free, especially in District number 9, to our women get President Weah, especially for 18th Street. So if they are in 18th Street, they are putting 18th Street. So it means that President Weah, rest assured, my entire Macaulay family, we're going to give you a second minute.
Okay. Many thanks. We'll take a little more course and we'll wrap it up quickly. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm okay, sir.
This is Tesmo Tower. We do have a say for the re-election of President. We are calling from Sorbor Road.
Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm going to say hi to Ate to my sister, Clarence.
My brother.
As I said yesterday, did you see the burn on the Sorbor Road yesterday? We marched with our president from Sorbor Road Junction to the sea to discuss the issue. And we think whether the Liberians are gravitating towards the president because of his developmental initiative. But let me say this. The opposition, these guys seem to penetrate and relevant based on lies. So they will consider to lie. But even try to come out to talk about paracetamol when we are discussing real issue. Because you always tell lies. Paracetamol $40, $50. So you're not going to mislead your followers. Even for this time, we're waiting for you people to come out. You're not coming up to lie. Before the COVID-19, that was America. A tattoo already, so the child tattoo already that was sold for $10. Now it's $17, $18. The 100-pound kg that was sold for $35, $40. It's now $55 to $60 in the U.S. Those that have abundance of resources, they want about Liberia.
Oh, yeah?
But that's why I would like to say, follow this, but please.
Many thanks.
Please. Those that don't have voice. Like I always say, we do have a division in there. You have bring on some of this show Some can explain the intention of the president.
Okay.
Because when you always meet these ministers, they will say they are protecting their job, they are protecting their salary.
And it is good for us to protect our job.
Okay. Many thanks. Let me take this last caller quickly. Oh, hello. Okay, let me take this last caller from this end. Good morning.
Good morning, Sorbor George, and good morning to our studio guest. My name is David Kalabawise, and I join you from the headquarters of the Coalition for Democratic Change on the Bakube Avenue in Toho community.
Okay.
Let me state my reason why I'm campaigning and will vote for number 18 on the 10th of October. President George Manuel Weah was able to maintain a peaceful country without the United Nations mission present in Liberia. Unlike the former regime found Ellie Johnson Seri and Joseph Iman Boycott, President George Manuel Weah was able to acquire more than 7 million military tactics vehicles under his administration without other nations pumping money in our economy. President George Manuel Weah was able to use the taxes of the country to run and increase the economy of our country. That's the reason why some of us will continue to be in the vanguard to campaign and ensure that this president is really there for the second thing. Thank you for putting
Many thanks. Let me go to my studio guests to get a parting comments so I can take leave of them. Mr. Doe?
Yeah, right. My brother, thank you. And thanks to your callers. I mean, they understand the issue. President Weah is going to be voted come October 10 on the first ballot simply because of the record that he brings very unprecedentedly that Liberia has not enjoyed. And like I've been saying, I will always say, the issue of who you vote for should be on their records. Let's look at President Weah very quickly. Then we come to his distant competitor of former Vice President Joseph Boakai. Before President Weah ever came to politics at all, he was everywhere on the refugee camp, ensuring Liberians live, although they were refugees back then. Even when President Weah was senator, it is because of his intervention today that our passports is no longer at $50, $60. It is his involvement. I remember that faithful day on the House floor when he said, listen, these common things for our people don't have to keep making them suffer more. Let's ensure we reduce the prices of our passports and many other things he talked about. Okay. Even when he became president, you can see the roads, you can see the policies, the economy, the schools, and everywhere. And let's quickly come to the distant competitor, former Vice President Joseph Mabaka, the decisions he's made over the time. President Sodi, former President Sodi, who many people will say is the face of Unity Party before, was expelled from the Unity Party on the same day she was celebrating her birthday in 2017. That was a decision of former Vice President Joseph Boakai. The CPP is today a dead CPP. It was broken down. That is the decision of former Vice President Joseph Boakai. Henry Costa broke away from the Unity Party. The decision of Mr. Joseph Boakai. The 30 million Libyan rice project in Liberia has no head, no tail. That is the decision of Mr. Joseph Boakai. As Minister of Agriculture, nothing to show. That's the decision of Mr. Joseph Boakai. Vice President for 12 years was only good as a parked car in the garage. That's the decision of Mr. Joseph Boakai. And so we are saying, whatever President Weah touches may not be flour as white in bread, but you see result. Okay. Whatever the other man who is distant competitor to him touches, it goes down in flame. That's why we want you to vote President Weah come October 10. Make sure you go to 18th Street. I will always be there. Don't forget 18th Street.
Okay, Mr. Joe. Thank you. Say it on. Caroline, let's hear.
Sorbor, again, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. It's a one-round victory. And we are calling on all of us, our supporters. We are calling on everybody from the length and breadth of this nation. If you want more power, as he has given power to the people, vote number 18. For good governance, vote number 18. For fiscal transparency, vote number 18. For economic development, vote number 18. For free restoration, vote number 18. For better health care, vote number 18. We are at a crossroads. The decisions we will make on October 10 will determine whether we move forward as a country, as we are moving forward, or whether we will go back. And so help me God, we are not going back. We are making progress. We are on the path of development. We are on the path of sustaining our gains, of maintaining the peace, and we will continue to move in that trajectory. For public participation, the first president who has given the citizens the right to say this is what we want in our national budget. For the first time, for the government to support our own election, and we're not running to the partners to come and support our election, vote President George Weah and Madam Joe Howard Taylor. Thank you very much.
Okay, she's Caroline Myers, a member of the Weah Intellectual Movement, and also she's an assistant director at the MFDP, that's the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Congratulations for your new portfolio. And also you heard Isaac Gado. Isaac Gado is the Vice Chair for Operations, and also Deputy Minister for Youth at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. You know, I say to you always, there's absolutely no second chance for first impression. President Weah had his first to change 4 years, and he made this impression. He's saying to you, I want to make more impressions, so give me an additional 6 years. Unlike those who had their first opportunity, and they squandered those opportunities. Until then, Sorbor George is my name. Hey, listen, tomorrow I will have the Minister of Youth and the Minister of Information, Lecture Running. You know, Liberia and other African countries in the region, they've been shuttering between their respective countries and to Nigeria in search of a negotiated settlement to the crisis in Niger. So what is Liberia's position? How Liberia is solidifying its position. Lecture really will be read here. That is tomorrow. Until then, have a pleasant day. Sorbor George is my name. Thanks to my Indian fire cable. My illustrious and hardworking producer, the man Melvin Stewart. A good day for you.